What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's new episode. Today we're talking about Mr. Darth Rigatoni, Mikey Musumeci. And we have some big news when it comes to Jiu-Jitsu. And Mikey Musumeci, if you guys don't know, is one of Jiu-Jitsu's biggest stars. And he has recently left one championship out in Asia and has recently signed to the UFC. And he's not fighting MMA for UFC, but it sounds like the UFC is going to start a submission grappling jiu-jitsu league. There hasn't been too much news on what the league has in store, but Mikey Musumeci is the first signing. He is one of the most technical and exciting competitors that we have in the gi and without the gi, and he's kind of known for his like little funny personality and eating pizza and pasta every day, and just overall just being like a chill dude. But on the mats, I don't know if he's that chill, you know what I mean? But definitely excited to see Mikey, compete under the UFC name, and I think it's huge for the sport in general. This is pretty much like Kobe Bryant leaving high school and going straight to the NBA. It's like you can't get more legit than the UFC. It sounds like the UFC wants a little bit of the piece of the pie when it comes to jiu-jitsu, just because I feel like it has grown exponentially the last few years. And we're starting to see big tournaments like CJI, ADCC, PGF, and there is a lot of good talent out there nowadays. And it is good to see that UFC is kind of just going to embrace kind of what jiu-jitsu is as a whole and start having and hosting these super fights. I assume they're going to be without the gi, but it really helps out competitors out there training for something that is going to be legitimate. You're going to have something that's going to be consistent. And with these tournaments like CJI, for example, it was $1 million tournament. But how long are we going to have CJI? Is it going to be an annual thing? Are the prices going to increase? And when it comes to ADCC, a lot of competitors were complaining about the pay. First place was only getting $10,000. So the prices vary, and when it comes to these athletes, they want to have something that is legitimate. So the UFC is pretty much equivalent to the NBA or the NFL, and we're gonna start seeing some solid matches coming up. So Mikey Musumeci has a match on December 5th, going against Felipe Machado on December 5th. And this is huge. It's huge for the sport. Mikey left one championship kind of on a sour note. He had the belt. He was a flyweight champion, and he had to relinquish it. He had some problems where he couldn't make weight. He almost died. He almost died cutting weight. And it is, it's unfortunate to see, but one man's trash is another man's treasure. It's starting, to open up new opportunities, and I feel like UFC could make a lot of noise when it comes to jiu-jitsu. And Mikey being the first signing, I feel like it adds a lot of pressure. But honestly, I think this is a great fit just because Mikey Musumeci really represents jiu-jitsu as a whole. He's not a big guy, he's not super strong, he's not tall, but he could definitely be a technical wizard and freaking choke anybody out. It doesn't matter how tall they are. He has some matches, some super fights against some big dudes, man. And Mikey definitely does his thing. So he really just represents jiu-jitsu as a whole. And pretty much just a likable guy in general, man. He talks about trying to set a good example for the younger generation and showing that you could be a natural athlete, and as long as you have hard work and dedication, you could get the things that you want. And he really embraces kind of that discipline that jiu-jitsu provides for other people. A lot of people enjoy jiu-jitsu because it has that martial art aspect to it, where it's all about respect and honor and appreciating everything. Potentially we could start seeing some big matches when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Maybe potentially we'll still see CJI and ADCC do their thing. There is a bigger fish added to the pond, and the UFC, they want everybody. They want all the big athletes. If they start signing big names, that's what everybody's going to want to start training for. And it's like, if we have something that's consistent and we have something that's a lot of people know what the rule set is and could start training for it, I feel like it would help out a lot of competitors know what they want, just because We still haven't been confirmed if there's going to be a second CJI tournament or if ADCC is going to increase their athlete pay. A lot of this stuff is still kind of in the works, but having the UFC do this it's very interesting. So I kind of wanted to get your guys' thoughts on Mikey joining this new UFC league, and the more information we get, I'll start talking to you guys about it. But it's kind of interesting seeing Mikey kind of just lead the sport into the mainstream, because a lot of people really don't know who Mikey is. You go into a grocery store and it's like, hey man, you know who Mikey Musumeci is? It's like, maybe not. But eventually, once jiu-jitsu really starts growing in popularity, I feel like Mikey Musumeci would definitely be a household name for years to come, just because he's so young. I believe he's like 27 years old, and he's still doing his thing, man. Like he has so much room left for growth. And he's talked to Ariel about him being kind of interested in doing some MMA. Like, we might see Mikey put on some gloves and step in the octagon. Who knows? Like, it would definitely be interesting seeing Mikey fight in the UFC, like actually fight some MMA. I know he has a little bit of a Muay Thai background, but he is open to the possibility of him training to fight in the UFC. Now that would definitely be interesting, seeing someone who has a very high level of jiu-jitsu and kind of incorporating that to the current day UFC. Just because Mikey, he's been training since he was a kid, and now he's a very dangerous person. You know what I mean? So he may not seem like it, but dude could really do a lot of damage if he really wanted to. So, you know what they say, when it comes with great power comes great responsibility, and I feel like Mikey Musumeci is a person who could hold that torch and kind of lead the way for the newer athletes and the younger generation when it comes to jiu-jitsu, and just kind of just representing jiu-jitsu as a whole. So I'm excited for it. I'll definitely be tuned in on December 5th. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.